I'm spending the weekend up at our larger 6-acre site doing a whole bunch of mowing and pruning and management work. And one of the things I wanted to work on this weekend, and I feel like we got a lot done with, is the far northwest corner where I documented earlier in the spring a challenge that we had with a neighbor who removed a protective hedgerow on their side of the fence. I thought I'd take a look and share on how that is evolving this season. So I'm going to wander out to the northwest corner of this landscape, and if you want some more context and background on what this project was or what the issue was, I'm going to link here to the first video. While I'm wandering out, I'll just give a very quick synopsis. To the west of us, so both upwind and up watershed, is a conventional orchard that uses sprays, and this spring the fellow removed the hedgerow on their side of the fence that protected us from that spray, and so we needed to repair it and make it strong again for ourselves. And it's really doing a pretty nice job. Right now I can't really see over there to even describe what the issue is. It's over there. I mean, you can see through a little bit. There's gaps here or there. If I go up a little higher, you can see the orchard over there. And so what we worked on this spring, so we pushed a lot of material over the fence line and crushed some fences. So we repounded in, Juan and I pounded in some new metal posts and ran 14 gauge wire on definitively our side of the property line. We added in, and they're really doing pretty well, some shipmast black locust for some overstory trees, some really great canopy trees for the long run that also fix nitrogen. There's sunchokes all throughout that are popping up in here. They've been browsed by the deer a little bit, but they're doing it. There'll be an herbaceous covering layer that will help us out quite a bit. And you can see some willow that was planted in. This is a real wet part of our property, so some willows are on this side as well as the other. This corner was pretty raw this morning, and then our friend Chelsea came by with her son Nimai and his friend, and we worked together on cutting some bamboo that needed to be cut away from some apple trees or from some pathways anyway. And we hiked it over to this corner across the property and wove it in. You can see they're stuck in at angles, woven through the metal wire, and then folded back on themselves. It's pretty informal, but with the leaves on and the stems there, it went from a completely raw open aperture looking out into that field to a pretty nice amount of debris. Now, if we just had woven wall of debris, that would not be anywhere near enough to protect and really fortify what's going on. And so we've got these layers. Back in the spring, we added in miscanthus, Juan and I, right next to the waterway there. And right here along our new pathway, it used to be over there, which is quite nice, but now it's here, and that's fine enough. And we've got miscanthus planted every foot or so. They're going to be scrawny for the first season. Very next year, they'll start to have a little bit of effect on light and wind. They'll really help in the long run with reducing wind coming through. In the winter, we get a lot from over there. I was thinking about bamboo, but I think that's a little bit too intense of a plant. It would probably cause more problems than it fixes as far as strife with the neighbor. The miscanthus will stay put, but this nice arc of it right along the whole mow path actually feels pretty attractive, and I can imagine it being lovely in the next few years. With the backdrop of woven bamboo and then a thick wall of grasses in front, sunchokes all throughout, and then vines growing up the fence as well, I think we'll be in a pretty good place to have erased our experience of that orchard. We have some more nitrogen fixing friends in here in the form of sea buckthorn or seaberry. This is a male, and then there's a line of cultivar females, more females down there. I think they're going to be great candidates for this spot in the long run. They'll sucker in thicket form, kind of infill. As long as I can keep this pathway open for a riding mower with a trailer, then all of this can become a real nice thicket of seaberry and an understory of currants. So nitrogen fixing, good resilience, good wind tolerance in those plants, and pretty darn beautiful coming out this way. It's actually shaping up to be a part of the property that I enjoy coming to and working on again, which is really, really lovely. One of the things that I really appreciate about permaculture as a design lens, or basically a principle lens to look through and to make decisions, is there's so many opportunities to have solutions to problems that are coming up that are really affirming that they are based on the materials you have on hand. So the bamboo is an excess material in this landscape already that we can cut and weave in. We can add in more as we need. The plants they do amazing work and they aggregate over time. It's a slow solution, but it actually aggregates and increases in strength. I could have spent many thousands of dollars putting in posts and putting boards across this and just making like a solid wall, but having this three-dimensionality of all these layers in here that can build up to the actual property line, each of them offering different ecosystem services, some offering fruit, some providing nitrogen fixation and fruit, like our friend the seaberry here. Lots and lots of candidates to plug in and work with one another and create a wild seeming, but very functional and very enjoyable and very, very low cost. Where the cost was the metal posts that we pounded in. Those were $5 a piece. So we have $25 in this project to repair a fence line, create some diversity and a windbreak that will only get stronger over time. So yeah, I'm pleased. And in a way, I actually feel, I'm not going to say I feel appreciation for having the hedgerow that protected us ripped out, but I can map it out by saying the fact that it was erased made it a higher priority to really focus some energy and effort on designing more of this corner of the landscape. I'd gotten used to this area just being like off in the distance, and you know, I wouldn't visit it that frequently, and since it was such a raw cut and all this exposure, it really drew our attention back over here to add in more diversity of characters, to bring mulch to feed those plants, to think about our mowing and management. And so I can appreciate that it's not what I would have loved to have happened, to have that hedgerow work just fine, but hey, it drew us out to this corner and it feels a lot better out here, so I'll take that as a positive. We'll share as things unfold further. Probably next year or so I'll do another update and show how the miscanthus is really getting thicker, what sort of vines we get into here. We're thinking about hardy kiwi, maybe grapes, maybe air potato. I'm open to ideas if folks think of vines that are tolerant of really high wind and some kind of nasty chemicals once in a while. But yeah, that's our update of repairing a boundary between our landscape and a conventional agricultural landscape, and trying to do so in a way that saves money and creates diversity and resilience and is enjoyable to interact with. Let me know what kind of questions you have or concerns, ideas, what sort of things you'd want us to talk about more. What was I missing? What else could have happened to support that? Are there other characters we really should be considering? That's all I got for now. Have a lovely day.